Perhaps it's the euphoric high from seeing my football club unshackled from 14 years of managed decline under retail baron Mike Ashley that has placed me in such a good mood, positively fizzing with excitement. Still, I think it's about time we were all a little less like despondent yours and more like bouncing Tiggers, Newcastle United fans or not. The hardcore zealots of Remain, worshipping at the altar of the EU Commission, have been chanting despite Brexit since June 23 like some satanic cult, or a poor soul on the verge of a collective nervous breakdown. Well, those people have been eager to paint ongoing disruption to UK supply chains as proof that their prophecies of Brexit's doom and gloom are true. Project Fear's exodus, like warnings of poverty, squalor and even World War III, are all, they argue, perfectly accurate. I don't know about you, but I don't recall their warnings that shelves in shops in Brussels would be empty. Or indeed that the Americans under President Biden would be suffering significant problems with their supply chains because of an enormous buildup of container ships off Los Angeles and Long Beach ports. What part of our taking back control caused these international qualms? The supply chain problems and shortage of HGV drivers are global ones. The global economy, emerging from the pandemic, is struggling to find its groove now that we're jabbed more than the pincushion of a seamstress. Far from roaring back to life, global supply chains are much like Bambi on ice, struggling to find their feet as it awakens from its lockdown slumber. But look, businesses have known for years now that the United Kingdom was leaving the EU's single market and customs union and ending free movement. Where was the push to train truckers? Why was the working assumption that the government would turn on the taps and continue to satisfy their addiction to cheap labor from Europe? Why hasn't the government put in place better planning for this scenario too? You don't have to be Mystic Meg to have seen it coming. But look, nothing can knock me from my high. Will our Christmas be ruined if have to forego chocolate fingers this year? Or a particular type of organic turkey? After a pandemic in which we invoked the spirit of our wartime generation, the greatest generation, with Her Majesty the Queen and the late Captain Sir Tom Moore as emblems of their selflessness. Frankly, the only Christmas I care about having this year has less to do with what calorific goods are set out on the table and more to do with who's sat around it. This year, in contrast to the restrictions of last, I long to be surrounded by the family at the dining table, those I love, having a merry old time. Surely we all do? The UK is far from alone in facing its issues, with tax changes, those in the know argue, being more responsible for driver shortages than Brexit. Yes, we have a brutal winter ahead, with energy bills and inflation up higher than Boris Johnson's blood pressure when he sees Carrie's wallpaper bill, but frantically blaming Brexit in a desperate desire to be proven right really doesn't make sense and simply doesn't stand up to scrutiny.